Hello, guys. Welcome back to the second half of the Dennis Herrera show. This is only a show for my patriots, for my Americans, for America first. We're going to listen to President Donald Trump interaction with uh, the Saudi prince, one of my favorite people in the world right now. Not because he has supported terrorists before, but because of what he is doing today. And he is changing a lot of things in his territory, little by little. So, hey, Omar, it's good to see you here, my friend. Good to see you, Brian, my sister Trinity. Cool Cat, welcome back, my friend. As you can see, I have a new stick holding my mic. This is more sturdy. This is actually something that I used when I was doing radio show before, and I like it. But because I have to type some stuff in here, it's not really something that I like too much because it does take more space on my desk. Even though I think this desk is actually pretty big, it's not your regular, portable size desk. It's actually pretty long, and I can raise it up and I can bring it right back down so I can stand up or sit, depends on what we're doing. I got a couple of things that will be delivered for me today, and I guess once I get it, you guys will be the first one to see it. Robert, welcome back to the House of Pain. Ah, man, I'm glad you guys are here with me. Oh, man. All right. All right, guys, let's go ahead and watch this video here. I've been waiting for this video. We missed it because I had to go run some errands. But oh, hey, Robert, how are you? At Trinity. I thought you called me gorgeous. I knew something was wrong in that comment. All right, let's get to it. Let's listen to the man talk over here, and let's see what happened. We missed it. She did it. Awesome. Love my president. Doggone it. Oh, man. Awesome. Awesome. Can you guys hear no sound? Okay, give me a second. I don't know why. Let me check. Let me check that real quick. So you guys haven't been hearing anything. Man, you guys didn't tell me that all this time? Don't worry. We'll start over because what he's saying is very important. Let's see if this is the right one. Can you hear that? No, I don't hear it. Let me try something else. Try speakers.
In the world. You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody
These
can believe.
guys, anything to come and be
will be
negative
the
about
amount
anything. Calm down.
invested in the
DOA.
United States or committed
There
to
we
invest
go.
in 1 year. So I'm here 9 months. We're up
Okay.
to almost $18
Fantastic.
trillion. Biden
So
is
we're
an
going to start
example.
over. I
The Biden
apologize about that. I
administration,
thought,
we
no
call it
wonder
that.
DOA was like
It
talking.
was
I can't hear
the
anything.
Biden lack of administration. There were less than 1 trillion.
All right, for all you patriots, you guys actually appreciate this. So here you
Well,
go.
thank you very much, everybody. We have a extremely respected man in the Oval Office today, and a friend of mine for a long time, a very good friend of mine. And I'm very proud of the job he's done. What he's done is incredible in terms of human rights and everything else.
That was my fault. Sorry about
He's
that.
the crown prince, the future king, and I just want to pay my greatest respect to your father, King, who is an amazing man. I met him early on. He greeted me at the airport at an age that was pretty high up there, and it was about 117 degrees, and he was standing on the red carpet as I came out of the plane, and he's amazing. And when I met his brilliant son, it was at the Oval Office. Shortly thereafter, you came in representing the country, and I called the father. I said, "This guy is fantastic." And I don't know if that helped you or hurt you, but obviously it couldn't have hurt too much because here you are, right? But we had a great meeting, and the office has changed quite a bit, and we inherited a mess. You actually told me you thought the country was in big trouble. I'm not going to use the exact word that you use. I refuse to say that you thought our country was dead a year and a half, 2 years ago, but our country was in trouble, and now we have the hottest country in the world. You said that also. And we do. We have the United States is right now the hottest country in the world. And between the tariffs and the election, November 5th election, we've done things that nobody can believe. $21 trillion will be the amount invested in the United States or committed to invest in 1 year. So I'm here 9 months, and we're up to almost $18 trillion. Biden, as an example, the Biden administration, if you call it that, it's not to me, it was the Biden lack of administration. There were less than 1 trillion for 4 years. We're going to be 21 trillion for 1 year. I think that's hard to believe. The biggest in history was a certain country, 3 trillion. We're going to be 21 trillion. On top of that, prices are coming down. We inherited a mess with high prices, the worst inflation in the history of our country. We had inflation that was a single full 4 years, the worst inflation in the history of the United States. Gas prices through the roof, and that's after destroying our petroleum reserve, which was meant for wars and big emergencies, not to try and win an election. They opened up the reserve so that people get $3 less in gasoline, and it didn't work. They got about 3 cents less, because as big as those reserves are, they're peanuts when you're talking about that kind of traffic. And we're rebuilding the reserves. We're doing all of this, and we've done a job. We're also bringing down prices very substantially, and we've already brought them down very, very substantially. Gasoline is way down. I think you'll be seeing $2 gasoline, but we're now at $2.50, $2.45. Some are lower than that. It was $4.50, $5, $6, $3.50, $3.75. Under Biden, all different numbers, but way high. And we have energy way down. But the biggest thing to me, because I know what it means in jobs, is the fact that we're at over $17 trillion, Scott, and we expect to be around $21 trillion in 1 year. And that's many times bigger than, in history, the highest number was $3 trillion. And we're going to be at 21 trillion. That means new plants, new AI, new auto plants. We have auto plants coming in from Canada, from Mexico, from Germany, from Japan. Toyota just agreed to invest $10 billion on new auto plants, all American workers. We've never been in a position like this. You can go back to the beginning. Our country has never been in a position like this, and it really is because of the fact that we use tariffs to bring all this money in. And you're going to see the results in a year when these plants start to open up. We have more plants under construction now than at any time in the history of our country. And these are big plants. These are the biggest plants anywhere in the world. And I want to thank you because you've agreed to invest $600 billion into the United States. And because he's my friend, he might make it $1 trillion, but I'm going to have to work on him. But it's 600. We can count on 600 billion, but that number could go up a little bit higher, yes, or I don't know, we'll see. But we appreciate it very much. So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs, a lot of jobs. We have a lot of jobs. So I just want to thank you. We've been really good friends for a long period of time. We've always been on the same side of every issue. I think we've done a great job in wiping out the nuclear capacity of Iran. Nobody else could have done that. No other president would have done it. We had the pilots in the Oval Office right here. We were celebrating a very successful attack. So I had them in with that beautiful B-2 bomber that's over there. And they said, sir, for 22 years, we practiced this attack. Our predecessors, these were very young guys, so 22 years, they said our predecessors and us practiced the attack on Iran. But no president ever gave us the go-ahead. 3 times a year they went out and they practiced the attack. Nobody let us do it until you came along, and I let them do it because it was the right thing to do. You can't have a nuclear Iran. And so we put you in a very good position. But I just want to say it's an honor to be your friend, and it's an honor that you're here. And if you'd like to say a few words, but thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. This relation has been a relation for about 9 decades, and we've been working together for a long time. But today it's a very important time in our history because there is also a lot of things that we're working in the future. We believe in the future of America. We believe in what you're doing, Mr. President, is really creating a lot of good things and good foundation to create more economic growth, more business in America, and it will also your work for the world peace. I believe, Mr. President, today and tomorrow we're going to announce that we are going to increase that $600 billion to almost $1 trillion of investment, real investment and real opportunity by details in many areas. And the agreement that we are signing today in many areas in technology, in AI, in earth materials, magnet, etc., that will create a lot of investment opportunities.
So you are doing that now. You're saying to me now that the 600 million will be 1 trillion.
Definitely, because what we are signing will facilitate that. And
I like that very much. No, that's great. I appreciate that. That's great. We're doing numbers that nobody's ever done. And in all fairness, if you didn't see potential in the U.S., you wouldn't be doing it.
Definitely.
You don't want to lose money.
As you said, Mr. President, it's the most hottest country in the planet. But what you're creating is not about opportunity today. It's about also long-term opportunity in the rest of America that will affect American economy positively in the next coming decades. Preparing the right foundation of emerging technologies, that's a game changer for America in a good way, and we want to be part of it.
Yeah, we're doing really well. And this, you don't see what we're doing so much because we have, although the construction industry sees it. If you look at Caterpillar, who's been incredible, the tractors, everything else, the numbers that we're doing in construction are unbelievable. Some of the plants that we're building, AI, and they're building their own electric with the plant. I gave them the right to build their own electric with the plant because no country, frankly, will have this. China's working very hard to produce enough electric, but we're beating China substantially at AI, which is a big thing. And we had a great meeting 2 weeks ago with President Xi, but on AI, we're doing well. And I have a man, David Rommel.
Yes, sir.
David, could you say a few words about what you're seeing on the job front?
Why don't you listen to what's being told on this meeting instead of being jackasses? And maybe you might just learn something. Everything that you guys are saying is being explained. And if you don't believe the president, if you don't believe the Saudi prince, if you don't believe the leaders of America, you'll never believe me either. So there you go. There's nothing that I can teach you. There's nothing that you are going to be able to learn because you're so close-minded. You guys have been brainwashed so much that this is an evil man. You guys don't understand economics. You don't understand how the money works around the world. You don't understand what investing is. All you do know is how to hate rich people and how to try to get money from their investments, their sacrifice, and their hard work that they have done in their life. So you guys have no brains to even comment at all on this chat. And you are allowed to be in here because we are trying to be nice. Other than that, you wouldn't even be here at all. So if you don't like that, this is MAGA country. This is all a chat for patriots that we believe on our President Trump. We had enough of all the bull crap that Democrats put us through with Sleepy Biden, with the whole digital pen, with the fake January 6th, with the whole Russia. We are sick and tired of all that bull crap, and that's why we voted for this president. Now, we get 4 years. Shut the hell up and buckle up, Dorothy, because you're not longer in Kansas.
And all of the, some of the assets, and also how we've been helped by the Saudis in terms of the kind of investment they've made. Please.
Yeah, most certainly. Thank you for the opportunity. I am a facility leader for GE Vernova, and if you look at the landscape for GE Vernova investment, over $750 million in the U.S. focused on true manufacturing jobs here stateside. We're looking at tripling the output of our Greenville, South Carolina facility, where we make the gas turbines that are supporting U.S. needs as well as the Saudi Arabia needs.
Right.
So real jobs, $300 million in gas investment, resulting in over 500 pieces of new equipment being installed in the Greenville, South Carolina facility. That translates into roughly 1,800 jobs across the board for GE Vernova. As we try to scale capacity to be able to meet this demand. Along with that, we're partnering with local communities to build the skill set that's required to meet these capacity needs. So that talent pipeline is incredibly important. So it's real jobs in the manufacturing space.
Well, you've been great, and thank you very much. And we love that state. I won that state by record numbers. I won a lot of states by record. Texas, a lot of them by Indiana. We're working with Indiana or something right now. We won that. We won a lot of them by records, but that was one of them. I want to thank you very much. Say hello to everybody.
brother, thank you,
Great
sir.
job. You're doing a great job. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Mr. President.
So, just in wrapping up, we'll take a couple of questions, but I want to just tell you what an honor it is to be your friend.
Posse
And I
Comitatus.
very much appreciate the investment of now $1 trillion, okay? And so I'm glad you got that out. I didn't want to be the one to tell them, but that's great news.
We keep increasing, Mr. President.
I know.
Each time the opportunities are just increasing more and more.
Well, the opportunities, right? We're doing better. If even if you look back 6 months ago, I mean, now all of a sudden you feel even better. So, and I think we're only going to go in one way. Does
Kat.
anybody have any questions?
Mr. President, have you approved the export licenses for advanced chips to Saudi Arabia? The export licenses?
We are working on that. We're negotiating that right now. Marco, do you want to talk about that, or Scott?
Okay, well, I mean, that's part of what, we may have announcements on that later today, but that's what we've been working on, is the mechanics by which something like that could be achieved, and it's part of the broader process, part of this broader engagement and cooperation between our two countries.
Certain levels of chips. Yeah.
And for the Crown Prince, Your Royal Highness, you're talking about $1 trillion of investment. Could the kingdom continue to do that with oil prices in the mid-60s?
Yeah, we are not creating fake opportunities to, please America, please President Trump. It's real opportunities. For example, when you ask about the AI and the chips, Saudi Arabia have a huge demand a huge need of computing power, and we're going to spend in the short term around $50 billion by consuming those semiconductors for our needs in Saudi Arabia. And with the agreement that we're going to have with us of America, that will allow us to focus that consuming power in the short term by $50 billion from the of America, and long term with hundreds of billions of dollars in the long term. So there's a lot of real opportunities that fit to our needs in Saudi Arabia and fit to our investment strategy.
Mr. President, is it appropriate, Mr. President, for your family to be doing business in Saudi Arabia while you're president? Is that a conflict of interest? And Your Royal Highness, the U.S. intelligence concluded that you orchestrated the brutal murder of a journalist. 9/11 families are furious that you are here in the Oval Office.
Who are you with?
Why should Americans trust
Who are you with?
And the same to you, Mr. President.
Now, who are you with?
I'm with ABC News, sir.
You with who?
ABC News, sir.
Fake news. ABC fake news. One of the
But the
worst.
question is
One of the
legitimate,
worst
sir.
in the business. But I'll answer your question.
Thank you.
I have nothing to do with the family business. I have left, and when I've devoted 100% of my energy. What my family does is fine. They do business all over. They've done very little with Saudi Arabia, actually. I'm sure they could do a lot. And anything they've done has been very good. That's what we've done. We've built a tremendous business for a long time. I've been very successful. I decided to leave that success behind and make America very successful. And I've made America more successful by far than it ever was, and that it ever could have been, no matter who was president. There would be nobody bringing in $21 trillion, that I can tell you right now. As far as this gentleman is concerned, he's done a phenomenal job. You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen. But he knew nothing about it, and we can leave it at that. You don't have to embarrass our guest by asking a question like that.
Just ask Mr. President, if you allow me to answer. I feel painful about the families of 9/11 in America, but we have to focus on reality. Reality, based on CIA documents and based on a lot of documents, that Osama bin Laden used Saudi people at that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buying that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. He knows that strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia is bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to approve him wrong and to build our relation, to continue developing our relation. It's critical in the safety of the world, it's critical against extremism and terrorism. About the journalists, it's really painful to hear anyone that been losing his life for no real purpose or nothing illegal way, and it's been painful for us in Saudi Arabia. We've did all the right steps of investigation, etc. in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that, and it's painful and it's a huge mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
Mr. President,
Thank you, Mr. President. The Crown Prince has been instrumental in helping lifting the sanctions on Syria.
That's true.
Will there be any joint investment between the U.S. and Syria? And will you visit the
Are you from Syria?
No, but
Where are you from?
I'm from Palestine.
Oh, making a lot of progress, huh? Very good. Well, they like the Palestinians like me.
As well after you, sir.
Palestinians are doing very well, actually. I think we're working very closely with a lot of people that make everybody happy, including Israel, the Palestinians, and everybody. That's very interesting. No, I think that I will tell you, the Crown Prince called me, and he specifically asked me if I would lift the sanctions on Syria, because he wants to see Syria make it. As you know, the leader of Syria was just here. We had a great meeting, and he's a strong guy, and I guess you need a strong person to run it. And I think Syria's made tremendous progress. And we did lift the sanctions at the request of the Crown Prince. Also, the President of Turkey, Erdogan, called me specifically. He said, you know, if you don't lift the sanctions, Syria doesn't have a chance. If you do, they have a very good chance. And between the two of them and some others, I lifted the sanctions. And the results so far have been pretty good.
Mr. President, can I ask you a question about the F-35s that are being sold to Saudi Arabia? Are these the same ones that are being used by the Israeli military? And if so, how does that allow for the qualitative military edge for Israel? And then I want to ask you, because you brought up the plight of the Palestinians, are you aware of relocation flights to South Africa that are taking place right now?
Which flights?
There are relocation flights that are taking place. Some Palestinians are being charged up to $2,000
I'm not going
a
to
seat.
South Africa for the G20 because I think their policies on the extermination of people are unacceptable. So I'm not going, so I won't refer to anything having to do with South Africa. South Africa has behaved extremely badly. But I will say that when you look at the F-35 and you're asking me, is it the same? I think it's going to be pretty similar, yeah.
How will that
This
affect-
is a great ally, and Israel's a great ally. And I know they'd like you to get planes of reduced caliber. I don't think that makes you too happy. They've been a great ally. Israel's been a great ally. And we're looking at that exactly right now. But as far as I'm concerned, I think they are both at a level where they should get top of the line. Yes, please.
Can I just ask for the Crown Prince, if I could just ask about the direct talks between
That's
U.S.
all right. Steve, 1 second. Go ahead.
Have you reached an agreement on a U.S.-Saudi defense treaty today? And are you going to bring up the Abraham Accords in your discussion?
I already brought them up.
What did you say?
I think I got a positive response. Would you like to respond?
Yeah, so
put you on the spot.
so definitely we believe having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries is a good thing, and we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President that we're going to work on that to be sure that we can prepare the right situation as soon as possible to have that.
I think we're, I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further, too. But I think you have a very good feeling toward the Abraham Accords.
Yes, definitely, Mr. President. We want peace for the Israelis. We want peace for the Palestinians. We want them to coexist peacefully in the region. And we will do our best to reach that day.
And the defense agreement, have you reached an agreement on that?
We pretty much have.
Mr. President,
Question for the Crown Prince, if I could just finish.
We have reached agreement on that. Yes.
I wanted to ask you about the direct talks between the United States and Iran. Have you been fully briefed on that? And are you concerned at all about how this might impact Saudi security interests?
When we are close ally, we'll be working closely together on that issue, and we will do our best to help to reach a deal between the rest of America and Iran. And we believe it's good for Iran's future to have a good deal that will satisfy the region and the world and the rest of America. So we will do our best to see that day happen.
And by the way, Iran does want to make a deal. I can say I think they very badly want to make a deal. I am totally open to it. And we're talking to them, and we start a process. But it would be a nice thing to have a deal with Iran, and we could have done it before the war, but that didn't work out. And something will happen there, I think. But they would very much like, I mean, they may say something else, but they would very much like to have a deal.
Mr. President,
Yeah,
you are going to sell 35 F-35
Say
jets.
it.
You are planning. You said you are planning to sell the F-35 jets to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Is it part of the security agreement? And how you assess the defense partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States? And the question was,
Well, I just said it, though. I mean, we're going to sell them F-35s. That's the only big question.
is it part of the security agreement or no?
No, we're going to have a deal. They're going to purchase F-35s. They're buying them from Lockheed, and it's a great plane. We make, by the way, the best military equipment. You saw that during the Iran little skirmish. We make the best planes, the best missiles. We make the best defensive missiles. We make the best military equipment in the world.
Nice. For His Royal Highness, I'd like to ask you about how you see the cooperation between the United States and Saudi Arabia in the advanced technological field, especially AI, and how it will support Saudi Arabia to serve its goal to achieve the vision of 2030.
Well, I will try to answer that in short, but definitely there's a lot of interest in many industries between Saudi Arabia and America, and we are signing a lot of agreements in different areas that will really add value to American economy, but also will add value to us in Saudi Arabia. And AI, it's critical for us because one of long-term problems that we could have is lack of workforce. As you've seen in the past few years, some of them have reached 30% of the global migration to Saudi Arabia. So we know that to assure the Saudi Arabia GDP growing, with the lack of workforce that we have, we need to use a lot of computing power to replace job in the long term. So that's huge demand in Saudi Arabia, and we want to link it to American private sectors and getting the supply from America. So there's a lot of opportunities in that area.
And we're also involved in AI in Saudi Arabia. So we're working, and we're leading by a lot on AI. Actually, a lot. China would be in second place, but we're leading by a lot. And I have to say this, and our relationship with China has been very good. And as far as buying our farm products, they're pretty much on schedule, Scott. I'd like you to call them, say if they could speed it up.
Sir.
Okay, but they're pretty much on schedule.
Mr. President, please. If I may, I have a question for both the Crown Prince and
Who are you? Where are you from?
Faisal Abbas from Arab News, Saudi Arabia, Your Excellency.
You should be a friendly question.
Your Royal Highness, just picking up on something you just mentioned about how some people try to destroy the relationship between Saudi Arabia and the United States. Perhaps, since the launch of the vision, we've been used to having the bigger picture and that everything fits into the bigger picture. Might you want to elaborate a little bit about where is the relationship, the bilateral relationship, the strategic partnership between Saudi Arabia and the United States heading, and what's the big picture there?
Well, I don't think it's a relation that we can replace it from the Saudi side or the American side. It's a critical relationship for our political attempt, for our economical attempt, for our security, for our military, for many things. And it has been there for 9 decades, and the opportunities that we have today, it's huge, and it seems that it's going to get deeper in the next few decades. And what we are having today and tomorrow with President Trump, it's really a huge new chapter in this relation that will add value to both of us.
When you think about it, I'm just sitting here. You're with the future king, a man who's respected by everybody, a man that doesn't have to be doing this, really. I don't have to be doing it either. And yet we're sitting here taking questions. We didn't say, oh, you can't talk about this, that. And there's never been transparency like this, even in his country. But there's never been, in our country, that's been acknowledged. But we didn't put restrictions. And I'm saying it's sort of wonderful to be taking questions from all over the world. Everybody's here. This is just a small group representative of tremendous numbers of media that are outside, that are very jealous that these people were so selected. But they're representing a lot of people that are outside. I think it's terrific that we can be sitting here being this open, and I think it's really a wonderful thing.
If you don't mind, I have a personal question for you.
Okay, here we go. I should have said that.
So apart from everything you mentioned in your opening remarks, you forgot to mention that you've de-escalated 7 wars since you started. At least in our part of the world, you are seen as a peacemaker. And adding that to all the executive orders and everything else you've mentioned, I really have to wonder, in your speech in Saudi Arabia, I was there, You said that His Royal Highness does not sleep at night thinking how he does things better. We wonder in Saudi Arabia, how do you manage your own time, and what's your formula for managing?
He does not sleep much, and I don't sleep much. I think we have the same schedule. We're thinking about our countries. And if you sleep a lot and you're president, we just had one that slept more than any president. He broke every record.
There you go, libtards. That's who we voted for, and we love our president. Everything he does, we support 100%. So stop asking dumb questions. This is MAGA country, boy.
He sleeps all the time, during the day, during the night, on the beach. The only guy could fall asleep on the beach with the press watching. No, he's not a sleeper. I'm not a sleeper. We don't. We talk at night. We can talk. I can call him almost any time. He goes, hi, how you doing? It's like the craziest times. But no, when you love your job, when you love your country, and when you're in a position like we are, future king, highly respected, crown prince, and in my case, president, you're thinking about your country. You're thinking about making America great again. We're thinking about keeping Saudi Arabia strong and vital in a pretty tough part of the world, tricky part, right? Tricky part. A lot of tricky people. But he thinks about his country, and I think about my country. I don't want to sleep.
President Trump, do you expect a formal civil nuclear deal to be reached soon? Can you talk to us about that aspect?
With who?
With Saudi Arabia.
I can see that happening.
Do you think that an agreement will happen today?
It's not urgent. You know, it's always when you have civil nuclear, but you have more oil than almost anybody else. We actually have more oil and gas than they do, but I refuse to say that.
And
We have more than. We have more than anybody. Can you imagine?
And on the F-35s, are those sales, Israel have reportedly wanted those sales to be conditioned on Saudi Arabia moving to normalized
Israel will be
relations.
happy. Israel is
Is
going to
that
be
a
happy.
condition of the F-35?
Israel's aware, and they're going to be very happy. Okay? Yeah, please. Hello.
Hi, hello. My name is Amal Hazani from Sharq al-Awsat newspaper. I'm from Riyadh.
Good. Good.
I have a question for the Crown Prince and for the President. Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, how much you expected from developing the cooperation with the United States in the field of new energy, AI, supply chain? How much you expected from that?
No limit. We just continue pushing forward. There's no limit. So we just push forward for all the opportunities that we have.
Okay, Mr. President.
You have to understand, this is really a great ally.
Yeah.
Just the fact that they're now doing, I came in here at 6, I did not know that. I was pushing for the 1 trillion, but he didn't tell me that. Now he told me. This is a great ally of ours. You know, when you invest $1 trillion,
Yep.
that's national security for us too, because it creates jobs, it creates a lot of things. And I would say, Scott, right, when you hear one country is putting $1 trillion into the United States, that creates national security. And, you know, I think that they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of that is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that. Creates a lot of power for the United States.
Mr. President, we are also in Saudi Arabia very happy for this much of Saudi
Right, for the relationship.
money is a function here, and of course it's come back for us for benefit. So it's complementary interest. So this is the
Well,
what
yeah.
the friends and allies do.
Huh? Well, look, I love the country of Saudi Arabia. I know the people very well. The level of treatment that we go when we go to Saudi Arabia is something that is incredible. And the people like us, and I think they really like America, especially when I'm president. I mean, I don't think they liked America so much maybe for 4 years recently. I think Obama treated Saudi Arabia very, very badly, as you know. And I think Biden didn't have any idea where the hell he was. I don't think Biden knew the difference.
How would you describe the future relationship with Saudi Arabia? I mean, from the strategic aspects. How would you describe
How would I say the relationship is with?
Yeah, at the level of economic
I would say
development
top of the
and
line.
religion.
It's as good as it can. I don't think it can get much better. We have look, we have a country that trusts us, and that's why they make that investment. If they didn't trust us, they couldn't make that investment. And we trust them. They've been very reliable. Now, I rebuilt our military in my first term, and we spent trillions of dollars, and we gave away some of it in Afghanistan stupidly because we had stupid people running our country. But we gave away, but that's, as much as it was, it's a tiny fraction of what we put here. And we're bringing our military to a new level, the highest level ever. We have those plants are going out. And again, it's all American jobs and everything, so it's good for a lot of reasons. But as far as Saudi is concerned, no, I don't think our relationship could be better. I don't think they had a great relationship under Biden, and I don't think they had a great relationship under Obama. But they have a great relationship under Trump. When we did the Presidential Walk of Fame, you saw that, right? And we're walking, and I asked the Crown Prince, so outside of Trump, because I blow everyone away, who was the best president for Saudi Arabia? And you could, maybe, it's an interesting answer. I don't know.
Roosevelt, who started it, Democrat, and Reagan, he's one of the historical presidents that have close ties with Saudi Arabia.
There you go.
But we've worked with all presidents.
Does Trump blow them all away?
No, it's another league, Mr. President.
And Trump doesn't give a fist pump. See, I grabbed that hand. I don't give a hell where that hand's been. I grabbed that hand. When remember Biden? He travels for 20 hours, gets out, and he gives the fist pump. No. When you get out of the plane, and you got the future king and the man who's one of the most respected people in the world, you shake his hand. You don't give him a fist pump, right? We don't want to ask you about that, but I can't imagine you were thrilled. You were like a little bit surprised. He's a fantastic guy. You don't do that. Yeah, please.
We're getting closer to the end of the year. Have you started the interviews for the Fed chair?
Yes.
Who have you interviewed?
I think I already know my choice.
Who is it?
Well, I liked him, but he's not going to take the job. He refused. You like Treasury better, right?
Much better, sir.
So we are talking to various people, and frankly, I'd love to get the guy currently in there out right now.
100%.
But people are holding me back. He's done a terrible job, hurting housing a little bit. The truth is, we've been so successful, we've blown past his interest rate stupidity. He's been wrong. That's why I call him too late. He's too late. Jerome Too Late Powell. He was recommended to me by a guy that made a bad choice. And it's too bad. But despite that, it's having very little impact because we have all of these things happening. But it has an impact on housing to a certain extent. He's a fool. He's a stupid man. But we have some very good people.
Yes, sir. You'll be sitting down with them in the near future, and
we have some surprising names, and we have some standard names that everybody's talking about. And we may go the standard way. It's nice to every once in a while go politically correct. But we have some great names. Steve,
have you talked to President Maduro of Venezuela yet? Are you still open to that?
He wants to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm open to talk. I talk to everybody. But no, he wants to. They treated us very badly. They sent all of their prison population into the United States, and we're getting them out rapidly. But he sent all of his, and he sends drugs into the United States and other things. No, he treated us badly. He was dealing with a bad president, and he was able to get away. We have now, I think we have the strongest borders anywhere in the world. Nobody's coming in unless they come in legally. We've taken very weak borders where millions of people came in. For the last 6 months, I don't do these reports. They say 0 people have been able to come in. Is that pretty good? I don't know if that number's right, but it's pretty
Mr. President, why wait for Congress to release the Epstein files? Why not just do it now?
It's not the question that I mind, it's your attitude. I think you're a terrible reporter. It's the way you ask these questions. You start off with a man who's highly respected, asking him a horrible, insubordinate, and just a terrible question. And you could even ask that same exact question nicely. You're all psyched up. Somebody psyched you over at ABC. They're going to psych it. You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. But I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman here. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, chairman, who should look at that because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
Reid Hoffman.
Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You got to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
Prince, very quickly, I want to ask you, how much money is Saudi Arabia giving for Gaza reconstruction?
Well, we have a discussion about that. Still, there is no amount being
It'll be
named, but
It'll be
we will definitely help.
Yeah, he's going to. It's very important to him.
And a quick follow-up, the International Security Force, given your pledge there will be no U.S. boots on the ground, what is the U.S. role going to be in that, and how do you sort of ratify the allegations that this could undermine Palestinian sovereignty and even the path to statehood?
Look, I think we're going to get along great with the Palestinians, and we know their leadership. We just had a very, you hate to say war, but it was a war. Very, very successful. And you could say really it was on behalf of everybody. We did that on behalf of everybody. And the outcome was extraordinary because we had the best pilots, the best equipment, the best planes, the best everything. And Israel bought the best equipment. They bought it from us. Everything's from us. It all starts here. This office, I was talking to the Crown Prince a little while. You walk into this office, for somebody from the outside, the Oval Office, it's the most powerful place in the world. You're standing right now in the most powerful place in the world. And no matter how big you are, these are the biggest people, the richest people. They walk into this office. It's special, isn't it? Look at him. He's so happy to be here. But you walk into this office. It's the Oval Office. And we've done a lot of good with this office. I've stopped actually 8 wars. I appreciated your question before. But I've actually stopped 8 wars. I have another one to go with Putin. I'm a little surprised at Putin. It's taken longer than I thought. But we stopped India and Pakistan. I could go through the list. You know the list better than I do. I'm very proud. And I stopped one that was almost ready to start again. You know, there was one that was ready to start, and they're doing very well. So it all took place right here in the Oval Office, whether by telephone or whether by they came in. Many of these leaders have come in, and they signed their peace deals right here in the Oval Office. So no matter if it's the biggest business people in the world or the greatest leaders in the world, the biggest leaders in the world, like the gentleman on my right, everybody walks into the Oval Office and they say, wow. And now, by the way, the Oval Office is in the kind of condition that it should be in. Whether you look at the walk or the marble floors or anything down the road, we're fixing the White House and we're building one of the greatest ballrooms ever to be built. You know, we have an event tonight, and we're going to have about 118 people because we have a very small room. For 150 years, they've wanted a ballroom, and now you're going to get a great ballroom. And I have to say, I probably made a lot of enemies because in your honor, we're having a dinner tonight, a beautiful dinner tonight, and we have a very small room, right? It's called the East Room, and it's beautiful, it's lovely, but it's like for a little cocktail before you go into a ballroom. It's a very small room. They've wanted a new ballroom for 150 years. We could have sold the big ballroom out 3 times in honor of this gentleman. So I made a lot of enemies because I have a lot of people that are invited tonight or are unable to come because of the size constraint. But you know what we'll do before I leave office? We'll have another dinner because we'll have it ready long before I leave office, and it's going to be beautiful. It's you know, it's a very popular thing what we're doing. And by the way, no government funds. It's all put up private money, all private money. And in the case, I think it's there's a restriction on foreigners. Otherwise, I could have asked you just for a check. Okay? But there's a restriction. These are all private individuals that put up a lot of money to build the ballroom. Not one penny is being used from the federal government. So it's really a nice thing. But I look forward to it. I just pointed it out. If this would be a perfect night to have that ballroom open, Susie. If we had that open, we'd have a lot of people very happy. Right now we have a lot of unhappy people because they all want to be with us tonight to honor this great man. Thank you all very much. Thank you.
And that is it, man. You guys are cracking me up, man. 100%. You're cracking me up. You guys are nuts. Nuts. So I get all these gay jokes in here and all these people coming in here insulting me. The information is being given out, and they are not listening. They're not paying attention. They're missing out on answers to the questions that they have. I don't understand. It's like, you know, you're looking for things to do, but you guys don't pay attention. So what do we do? So for all of you patrons that have come through my chat, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I am laughing my head off over here. You guys have no idea. I am so proud of the patrons on my chat. You know, what's crazy is I can listen to I can listen to certain people. I can listen to the ones that support me and love me, or I can listen to the ones that hate me and want to destroy me. And I choose to listen to the ones that love me and care about me. And the reason why they do that is not because I'm the greatest guy in the world. It's because I am just like them. I am pro-America first. And many people that don't understand what America first is, stick around. You hang out with our lives and with our talks, and you will learn something about why America first means sometimes helping others. I think that's very great. Now, let's go ahead and jump on. Let's take a listen to Mike Johnson. I believe there was already a vote being done about this. But pay attention to what Mike Johnson says, because what I've been telling you guys on live, it's that there is a reason why President Trump is not releasing those files, okay, the Epstein files that everybody wants to talk about. There is a reason for that. I believe it. And, well, let's listen to Mike Johnson, Representative Mike Johnson. I admire him. Just so you guys know, again, this is a MAGA country chat. Americans for legal migration, Americans for America first, and most importantly, support the man that keeps sacrificing his life, working for the American people and being a peacemaker, recognized internationally around the world as a peacemaker. Except here at home. But as Jesus says, no prophet is a prophet in his own land. You know what? That's how it works. But lucky for us, we have common sense and we support our president 100%. He's got lawyers. He's got a bunch of people deciding, people that know the law more than you, that know the Constitution better than you, and they are advising him to do what he needs to do. For those of you who think that he broke the law by putting military on our cities, guess what? We ask for that. That's what we want. You don't believe me? Even Mexican citizens are in Mexico right now asking for President Donald Trump's help wishing that he was the president in Mexico. How about them apples? Let that marinate for a second. Let's take a listen to the man of the hour.
After 43 long days of the Democrat shutdown, we are finally back in regular legislative session. We have been very anxious to get here. We spent the last 6 weeks in our districts, most of the members of the House, at least the House Republicans did at least, 6 weeks they spent in their district, and many of them will tell you, and they've said publicly and privately, they did some of the best work of their career because they were right there with their constituents at home in their districts, in their counties, and their parishes, in our case in Louisiana, working with their constituents and helping them navigate the consequences of the Democrats' pointless political games in the shutdown. They did some really important work. And we are ready and eager now to get back to the legislative session work, the other side of this job, so that we can deliver on our promises to the American people. The Republican Party has been doing this, and we will continue. We're going to continue to reduce the cost of health care. We've got big plans to do that. We're going to continue reducing prices and the cost of living for American families. And, of course, to finish the rest of the appropriations government funding process. We've been needing to do that, and we are already working around the clock to accomplish those objectives. But with so many pressing issues on our plate, just very frustratingly to us, the Democrats are delaying that work even further with a political show vote. They're forcing a political show vote on the Epstein file. So we're just going to address that right at the top here this morning, because they've spent so much time, the Democrats have, spinning the facts and trying to confuse the people, that I wanted to come in this morning and just clearly explain for the people back home how we got here and why this vote is happening right now. First, a quick review of the relevant history here. For 4 long years under the previous administration, under the Biden-Harris administration, Democrats insisted there was no border crisis. Remember, they told you that that wasn't a problem at all. They dismissed inflation as transitory. That's what they told us. They told the American people not to believe what we could all see with our own eyes, that there was an obvious mental and physical decline on the part of President Biden individually. And now, seemingly overnight, these same cast of characters, they've taken a sudden and urgent interest in the Epstein investigation. Suddenly, it's all in the name of transparency. That's what they're trying to tell us. But the truth is, the biggest proponents of this discharge petition were never actually interested in transparency or ensuring justice or protecting victims of this unspeakable tragedy, the Epstein evils. And how do we know that? Because the Democrats had every one of the Epstein files in their possession for the 4 long years of the Biden administration. The Biden Department of Justice had the files the entire time. And not a single one of the people who are so loud and animated right now, they never said anything about it for all those 4 years. None of them held press conferences. None of them demanded the release of the documents. And under Biden's DOJ, when they prosecuted just Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, not a single one of these Democrats or any of the proponents of the discharge ever made any noise about that at all. So it's fair for the American people to ask the question, why now? Why suddenly are they so interested? They have such an urgent interest in the Jeffrey Epstein matter. The truth is simple and straightforward and obvious for anyone who is willing to look at it objectively. Clearly, this is a political exercise for Democrats and a few others, sadly, and it is as deceitful and dishonest as their pointless stunt to shut down the government.
Just wait.
Same ideology behind this. Democrats are trying to use the Epstein matter as a political weapon to distract from their own party's failures.
Yep.
And in a desperate attempt, they're trying to somehow tie President Trump to the scandal. President Trump has nothing to do with it. He has said himself he has nothing to hide. And that's clearly what they've been trying to do. They're trying to attack President Trump. This is what they've done. They weaponized the justice system over the last several years to go after him, and this is their latest attempt. And they don't have a platform or a principle to defend on the Democrat Party side, so they put all their eggs in this basket. And that's why you hear endlessly about Epstein, Epstein, Epstein. Everything's about Epstein. Now, this was an unspeakable tragedy, we said that. And we have great compassion for the victims. And I'm heartened that I met with the victims. Our House Oversight Committee members met with the victims, and they deserve justice. It has been too long delayed. Not just justice for what they were made to endure, but also we need answers on why it took so long for the Department of Justice itself to do that job under previous leadership. Republicans, meanwhile, are working in earnest to deliver transparency to the American people, and we're working to do that in a responsible manner that does no further harm to these innocent people and the victims who have been wrapped into this. There are a few key facts here that everybody needs to understand. First, I mentioned the House Oversight Committee doing its work. That is a bipartisan effort. They are already producing far more than the discharge petition even anticipates. Chairman Comer is our chair of oversight. Some of the biggest bulldogs in Congress serve on that committee, you all know, and I've mentioned this so many times. They have been, on the Republican and Democrat side, they're deeply dug in. They've been working around the clock. They worked even through the government shutdown, and there were tranches of documents that were released even over that period. So far, by last count, it's over 65,000 documents, Epstein file documents, that are now out in the public for everyone to review. That includes tens of thousands of pages from the Epstein estate. And that includes Epstein's flight logs, his personal financial records and ledgers, his daily calendars, and so much more. And none of that is even written or included in the discharge petition. So in other words, the Oversight Committee is doing far more than the discharge even anticipates, and the most valuable information thus far has come from the Epstein estate files. That was produced because of the work of the Oversight Committee that is doing that in a professional, robust manner, using the full subpoena authority of the U.S. Congress. From the very beginning, our side has been insistent that this matter must be handled very carefully and with utmost caution and care for the victims. We want maximum transparency. We have always been about that. We want every single person who had any scintilla, there's any scintilla of evidence that they were involved in the Epstein evils, they need to be brought to justice, and it should have been done a long time ago. We need to find out who those people are. But in the meantime, you have to remember there are real people's, innocent people's lives at stake here, and young victims who don't want to be dragged into this political game because it could hurt further what they've already endured. They would be made to suffer more harm if Congress is not careful in what we're doing. And unlike our very important work that's underway in the House Oversight Committee, the Democrat-led discharge petition would carelessly dump thousands of documents without proper protections for the innocent. I brought a chart in here this morning. I want to illustrate for you what we are concerned with. Now, I was a federal court litigator. The members of our House Judiciary Committee, Republicans in particular, have many of these concerns. You have Chairman Jim Jordan and attorneys like Chip Roy, who's running for Attorney General of Texas now. You have Brad Knott, who's a former federal prosecutor, many members on the committee. Andy Biggs is running for governor of Arizona. They're lawyers, and they understand that the way the discharge petition was drafted is haphazard and dangerous. This is why we have been opposed to this point, okay? And I could be here for a long time going through all the details of it, but the big concern we've all had all along is that the House bill, if it's passed in its current form and it was signed into law, it is dangerously flawed. And our problem and our frustration is there is no way for us in the House to amend it or correct these problems because the authors of the discharge will not allow it. And that's one of our great frustrations. Let me just very quickly, we have a legal document that the lawyers, we have all drafted to explain all this, but let me give you maybe the top 5 concerns about it, and there are more. But as drafted, the discharge petition, it fails to fully protect victim privacy. I'm going to read you an excerpt out of our legal document we put together to explain all this. Congress should give the Attorney General broader authority to redact all the victim information. The discharge doesn't do that. This would prevent the release of information that could be used to unmask victims who have chosen to remain anonymous. Now, you have some very brave women who have come forward and put their names and faces out there and done press conferences and explained that justice is overdue, and our hearts go out to them, and they are heroes. But you have as many as 1,000 women, by some of the accounts, who may be caught up in this. And the vast majority of them have not come forward, probably for obvious reasons. They don't want to be unmasked. But the discharge petition doesn't have adequate protections. It risks re-victimizing those who were trafficked and exploited. And the courts have recognized this concern, by the way. I'll read you a quick excerpt. On August 20th of this year, Judge Richard Berman of the Southern District of New York issued an order denying the DOJ's request to release Epstein grand jury materials, noting, quote, names and identifying information of victims appear in the subject materials, unquote. Judge Berman then quoted a letter related to the victims' concerns, which stated the following, quote, transparency cannot come at the expense of the very people whom the justice system is sworn to protect, unquote. And importantly, the judge quoted a letter from one of the victims, In the proceedings, she is named as Jane Doe 2. She said this. This is one of the victims. Quote, "I beg the court to make sure it is of the utmost priority that in any sort of release, all and every detail that could possibly reveal our identities be redacted. The victims of Epstein's evils deserve that protection, and the discharge does not currently provide it." Okay? Number two, the discharge petition could create new victims, okay? Because it requires the DOJ to release information even in cases where the DOJ or the FBI has already reviewed it and determined it is not credible. It is false information. Doing this and requiring this to come out could ruin the reputations of completely innocent people, such as those who have may just have known Epstein but knew nothing of his crimes, or whose names he exploited. Think of this, innocent people whose names he exploited and used to try to get close to his intended victims. Their names may be in these files, and they had nothing to do with this. And so by just haphazardly releasing it, you're going to destroy their reputations. Releasing information containing the names of innocent people would subject those innocent people to a guilt by association. It would create an entirely new group of victims who have no means to clear their names. That's a concern of Congress, and it should be. It should be. Number three, the discharge in its current form fails to prohibit the release of child sexual abuse materials. That is a term of art. It's called CSAM, okay? It's defined in the U.S. Code. The discharge is so haphazardly written, because remember, it's just a political exercise for these guys. They don't seem to care about this, but they cited the wrong section of the U.S. Code. So when they say that we don't want child pornography to come out, child sexual abuse materials, of course, we don't want that released. They wrote this thing so quickly that they cited the wrong section. So you know what that means? It means that it doesn't really bestow any real legal authority on the Attorney General to redact those materials. And that would compel the DOJ to release that stuff into the public. Every single person in this room knows that's wrong, and you should stand against it. But that's what the discharge says. Number four, it jeopardizes the future federal investigations of the United States. Why? Because the discharge only allows the Attorney General to redact limited portions of records that could publicly identify individuals who were promised confidentiality. In this scenario, you're talking about whistleblowers. You're talking about confidential informants who came forward and gave information and evidence in exchange for agreeing to have their identities not revealed. Violating confidentiality, imagine the chilling effect that would have on future investigations. Who's going to want to come forward if they think Congress can take a political exercise and reveal their identities? Who's going to come talk to prosecutors? It's very dangerous. It would deter future whistleblowers and informants. And the release of that could also publicly reveal the identity, by the way, of undercover law enforcement officers who are working in future operations. Dangerous stuff, and they seem not to care. And by the way, I'm going to remind you again, we went to the authors. We asked the authors of the discharge to change this, and they said jump in the Potomac. All right? Number five, national security concerns, okay? The discharge requires the Attorney General to release within 30 days, quote, classified information to the maximum extent possible. This ignores the principle that declassification should always rest, and always has rested, with the agency that originated the intelligence. Why? So that they can protect their critical sources and methods. It is incredibly dangerous to demand that officials or employees of the DOJ declassify materials that originated in other agencies, in intelligence agencies. I could go on. I won't be here all morning, but there's a lot of problems. There's also a lot of legal scholars, and I'm among them, who are concerned that that you've got problems with grand jury secrecy. We know Rule 6E of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure prohibits the release of grand jury materials, but the way the discharge is drafted, you can make an argument that it requires all that to come out, and that is a serious problem. Grand juries are not adversarial, okay? There's no opportunity there for cross-examination. You can't disprove evidence. You can't challenge the evidence in any way. And if Congress goes in and breaks that seal and just starts releasing sensitive grand jury materials and allegations like that, it raises a risk that the grand jury process will be politicized in the future. And that's a whole other danger that we could talk about all day. I'm gonna wrap this up and just say that Republicans support maximum transparency. We always have. The President of the United States supports maximum transparency. You've heard him say it in his own words. But he has had the same concerns that I've just articulated here and we've talked about that. All of us have had these concerns, and we understand that we have a responsibility to innocent people and victims that is not properly guarded by the discharge petition. And that's why we're so incensed about that. We've got to make sure that we disclose the names of anybody who aided or conspired in any way with Jeffrey Epstein. But at the same time, you've got to make sure that innocent people are protected. So we have to do this in a way that doesn't violate victim privacy, that doesn't create new victims, that doesn't disclose the names of any whistleblower or informant, that causes the release of grand jury materials or child sexual abuse materials, or undermines our national security. And I think everybody of good conscience and common sense would say, of course you have to do that. But here we are. So the discharge petition got its 218th signature, and it is going to go forward. It is going to pass because it only takes 218. And we know that the Democrats have disregarded all these concerns, and they're going to move it forward anyway. So all the people of good conscience here say, we've registered our concerns, we stated our opposition as long as possible, but we're also for maximum transparency. So what am I to do as a leader in a situation like this? I call my counterpart in the Senate, Leader Thune, and I talked him through this with him and shared our deep concerns. And of course they share those concerns as well. And so I'm very confident that when this moves forward in the process, if and when it is processed in the Senate, which there's no certainty that that will be, that they will take the time methodically to do what we have not been allowed to do in the House, to amend this discharge petition and to make sure that these protections are there. The authors of the discharge did not allow us to do that here. That's the rules here. But in the Senate, they can correct it. So under that circumstance, because of that, we know there's serious deficiencies. We know that the work of our colleagues in the Senate can address that and will. They're very conscientious and concerned, as we are, about all this. As we've insisted from the very beginning, Republicans are the only party trying to make a material difference in ensuring maximum transparency. Oh, by the way, I'll just tell you, I put the bill on the floor for unanimous consent last Wednesday night. And guess who objected to it? The Democrats, okay? If this is so urgent, and they were so concerned about getting this done and seeing justice be done and all that, they would not have blocked the request, okay? This is about politics. They blocked our unanimous consent motion to expedite their bill and made us waste all this additional time so they could have a show vote today. Republicans are ready to get the job done, to move forward, so we can continue to get on to these important issues of dealing with what the American people demand and deserve for us to deal with. And so I want to leave you with this thought. Everybody should think long and hard about who here is acting truthfully, honestly, and in good faith. It is not the Democrat Party that has obfuscated and blatantly lied for the last 4 years about all these things. It is not the Democrats who shut down the government for their own selfish political purposes. It is not the Democrats who blocked the passage of this discharge a week ago because they wanted to have a political moment. It is the Republicans who are acting in good faith, and I believe the American people are going to see that and understand it. I'm going to vote to move this forward. I think it could be close to a unanimous vote because everybody here, all the Republicans, want to go on record to show they're for maximum transparency, but they also want to note that we're demanding that this stuff get corrected before it is ever moved through the process and is completed. I sincerely hope my Democrat colleagues will show the same level of urgency and enthusiasm when it comes to tackling the real issues facing the country that we got to get to. And that's what we really wanted to talk about this morning. Affordability issues are real, and the Democrats themselves created the crisis. Remember, over the last 4 years of the Biden administration, they spent like drunken sailors, and when you throw a bunch of new money into the system, it makes inflation rise, right? Republicans are ready and eager to continue our work to clean up the mess that the Democrats made. We've been doing that already, and we're going to continue to do it. Joining the leadership team this morning to discuss our record-setting success and our continued efforts to bring back affordability, to lower the cost of living, to lower the cost of health care, and have abundant American energy are two of our Republican colleagues who are leading the charge on this issue. And Chairman Brett Guthrie, you'll hear from in a moment, from Energy and Commerce, will speak with you, and Congressman Nick Begich of Alaska, great state of Alaska, is going to address it as well. But I'll first turn it over to our chair of our conference, Lisa McClain.
Well, if you guys don't understand what the hell that was, you guys are asking questions here, and yet you guys don't pay attention to anything he was saying. This is what drives the wedge between you and I. You guys are so brainwashed, I have no other word, into what you're saying. The hate for the man, you guys bringing stuff that's 25, 30 years old. And you have to go that far back to find something to smear on the president that's fighting for your country. Well, if you're illegal in my chat, not for you, for American citizens. That's all he's doing. Let me read a couple of comments in here, just to give you guys some attention, and let's see what questions you guys have. Let's see. So number one, you say he's lying. He's lying about everything he's telling you. He's telling you that all Republicans are going to vote to move this forward. How is that Republicans not wanting to release the files? Number one, Trump, if Trump was to release those files himself, everybody, every single one of my patriots on my chat will agree. And even you are already thinking about it. If something, thank you, Sharon, if something happens bad, which I think is going to happen, because of the Epstein files, who are you going to blame? Donald Trump? Not anymore. You don't get to do that this time, and Trump knows it. Trump says, nope, 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 nope. I want to release the file. No, no. Democrats have to vote. Democrats have to say it. They are the ones that have to push it forward. You know why? And I said this before. If anybody requests the Epstein files to be released, I want those files released 100%, no names redacted, nothing. Every single name has to show. That's how I want the files. Now, the Republicans' concern is the safety of the victims. You see, in order for Democrats to try to get a forced win against President Trump, they held the country hostage. They shut down the government just to get one on President Trump, because they thought once we convince the American people that President Trump is evil and he's not giving them the SNAP benefits, and the government and the military police is not getting paid, and all these people are losing jobs. See, they thought that they were going to make President Donald Trump look bad, and he was going to have to say, okay, I give. And then they can go and say, you see, guys, you see what we accomplished by banding together against the president? He's no king. We are. That's what Democrats want to say. But Democrats don't understand that President Donald Trump is smarter than they are, all of them combined. And that's the problem that they got, because they keep hiring their own stupid people with DEI. None of them have the brain to be in that power right now. Now, I'm going to pause a little bit, just a little small break. For those who get triggered by my Gulf of America hat, if you are from Mexico, I understand why you love how Spaniards named it the Gulf of Mexico instead of the Gulf of America, which is given to the name of the continent. That's it. Get over it. It's Gulf of America. Google it. Anyways, going back to Trump. So we know that if anything has to do with Trump, and he knows this better, there is nothing better than to use reverse psychology. Now, anything that happens with these files is going to be on Democrats' hands because they voted for it. If President Donald Trump releases those files, think about it. If he releases those files, all these people that have TDS are going to go crazy and say, how dare you put the names of the innocent victims in harm's way. And now we can say 100% that is the libtards in my chat and all of the Democrats' responsibility releasing those files, because they're trying to find, they're so desperate to find something negative to throw against President Donald Trump because they can't prove anything else. They don't care about the safety or reputation of all the victims. They don't care about the whistleblowers. They don't care about the informants. They don't care about anything that gets to be used to extract information from certain associations and certain dealings that we need. They don't care about all that. They don't understand the harm that this can cause the people, the innocent people. Do you think they really just, redacted the names of the innocent victims just because they were covering for Trump? I like it how people try to lie and come in my live and tell me President Trump's name is on the files. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? Did you write the files yourself? Did you take a look at the files with President Trump's name on it that said that he was in there and then they redacted the name from the files? How dare you raise a false testimony against the president? If you're illegal, I get it. But if you're American, what a shame. What happened to our system of justice? What happened to proven innocent until proven guilty? What happened to that? I thought you guys were all for the Constitution. I thought you guys were all for justice, but it seems to me like you're out to get blood. It seems to me like you guys are in a witch hunt again. Like, do you not learn? How many times do you guys have to step on poop in order to learn your lessons? Over 12 years, proving you wrong, and you still keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Do you know why I got 11,000 Patriot subscribers to my channel? Not because I'm the smartest, not because I'm the great debater, not because I am a professor with many PhDs. It's just because I speak the truth. And I'm honest. I could be wrong on some things, I get it. But you can't convince me that what I know is false. We said no illegal immigrants in this country. You want open borders. President of Mexico said protest, fight for your human rights when they were rioting here in LA. See, she didn't care about that right there. She didn't care about you Americans. She didn't care about this country. She didn't care at all. But now that it's happening to her country, all of a sudden, she's actually worse than President Trump. Isn't that crazy? John Davis, thank you for subscribing. Guys, everybody that has subscribed, thank you so much for subscribing. I appreciate it. But I want the truth to be known. I want facts. And I can tell you right now, I am sick and tired of hearing Democrats lie up the yin-yang, that even if they say something that is true, how can we believe it? How can we even give them a chance to try to say something? When you are a liar, there's no way we can hear you anymore. We're so used to hearing you lie so much that we don't know what to believe from you anymore. You know, you guys say you're for freedom of speech, but the moment that you see people on the campuses at the universities, like Louderwood Crowder, change my mind, like Charlie Kirk, like anybody else that goes out there and has a different point of view than you become violent towards them. People come over here and threaten my life. Why? Why do you have to threaten my life? What do you mean I'm supposed to get the same reward that Charlie Kirk got? You remember that, teacher? Why do people threaten my life? Tell me about it. Freedom of speech, they say. And yet, they are the ones trying to silence us. They are the ones that don't want us to be free to speak. They say freedom of religion. But the moment that you say you're Christian, you are the devil. And welcome all Muslims. We love your peaceful religion. They're hypocrites. They call President Trump names as if they were there, as if they know the actual facts. Anything that's in the news, everything is hearsay. That's it. There's no facts. I can tell you, when I say facts, it's common sense to me. Well, this is what I see. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I heard. Well, that's exactly what happens. That's a fact. Look what they're saying. They got intel from the CIA. President Donald Trump has blown up more than 18 boats of drugs trying to come across the ocean. Leftist media, legacy media, I always say, the alleged drug boats. There is intel that proves it. That's a fact. Well, yeah, you and I can agree to disagree. I don't know if that's a fact, but that's what they tell us. Until it's proven otherwise, it is a fact. They say President Donald Trump has not stopped 8 wars. And yet, foreign leaders come all the way across the ocean into the Oval House. Reporters, other people that cover the news around the world, and they say, Mr. President, everybody knows that you're a peacemaker. Blessed are the peacemakers. He's the only one that's been doing that. He's right. He's right to call up on Joe Biden's habits. Fist pump. Seriously. You're talking to a future king of a nation. Show some respect. One of the things that you can see, watch, President Donald Trump, it will insult everybody. But the moment that somebody shows him that they mean well and they actually respect him, he does the same right back at them. When people come in here and they start insulting me, what's the thing that I say? They come in here and they start yelling, debate me, coward. Debate me. And they start insulting me. And they start calling me names. And I say the same thing that President Donald Trump just said to the reporter. You have the freedom to the press, but you're nasty. You come in here and disrespect the future king of Saudi. Nasty. No more questions from you. Disgusting. You ruined it. And what you say to here? Debate me. No. You're nasty. You're rude. You're hateful. Why would I debate you? Debate you on what? I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you. I'm not here to change your mind. That's not what I'm doing. I'm here to tell you the way that I see things. I'm here to tell you that I don't believe the lies that they say about him. And all these actions of putting military on the streets of America, so what? They're Americans. It's what we want. When you stand up against criminals, against illegal immigrants, against gangbangers, come talk to me. Come and talk to me. Until then, shut the hell up. It's that simple. It's very simple. If your governor doesn't want to do his job to stop crime, to stop homelessness, if he doesn't want to do his job to fight against cartels and criminals, then the president can step in. You know why? Because we're also Americans, and we deserve to be protected. We don't need the money from the government. We don't need food stamps. It's nice if we get some free health care. Okay, I get it. But that's not the solution, because we will always keep wasting money. Let me tell you, this is ridiculous. I recently went to the hospital with my wife. We went to the emergency room, the entrance of the emergency. We go in there, they ask us some questions. We go into a hallway. Pay attention. We go into a hallway, and they do they check the heartbeat and all this stuff. And then they send us outside in the hallway again with other patients. Mind you, there's no room. It's just a hallway in the hospital. And they diagnosed right there in the hallway, plugged into a machine, blah, blah, blah. I received the bill today. Do you know how much money they charged me for emergency room? It says emergency room. Do you know how much they charged me? Which we were not in an actual emergency room. There was no ICU. There was nothing of an emergency like that. They put us in the hallway. Do you know how much they charged us for it? You see, your free universal health care is not going to work until we fix the corruption of the people that benefit from it. They charged us almost $6,000 for the emergency room. Free health care. Free health care for illegals. Guess what? They charge you over $10,000 for a birth. They charge you $100,000 for some care. Those benefits belong to the American people in the first place, but the pricing needs to be addressed. How is it? It takes $1, $2 to build an IV, but the hospital charges you $875 for one IV. How about $100 because you got to use a machine and you got to plug in? Yeah, I get it, right? How about $100? It is crazy that this one miserable visit that we didn't even get to go inside an actual room, we got to pay almost $1,200 out of pocket. That, my friend, is ridiculous. And that's right, Brian, because of insurance reimbursement. That's right. Many people don't know about that. You see, when you don't work for your money and you just get free money, you don't pay attention to what somebody is charging you. You don't pay attention to how much things cost until you're not depending of that free money anymore. We got people on food stamps. People on food stamps. They've been raised on food stamps. Now, food stamps are supposed to be a temporary assistance, or as you're a disabled veteran, etc. They got cut off the food stamps. Oh my Lord. They came out here with these videos and demanding, and you have all these people at the stores stealing, looting, and taking all, just for the hell of it. They probably didn't even get food stamps in the first place. But they go out there and they start just taking food from stores. Crazy. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. Russell, that's not how you spell trader, but I'd rather take that word instead of the other one. I know what you mean. You hate the truth. It's like throwing holy water on demons. My dear American patriots, take it from an immigrant that came here the legal way. I try to do everything that I can to respect the law. How I have a couple of speeding tickets, literally a couple of speeding tickets in over 40 years? Sure. Well, I'm lying. It's probably like 35 years. But sure, let's call it that. 35 years driving, 2 speeding tickets. I'm an American citizen now. I've been adopted into the American family. I have to love my president. And you have to understand one thing. If you are in this chat and you think that you're going to get me to say something bad about President Donald Trump, I'm sorry to disappoint you. But you might as well just leave now. I am supporting him 100%. Everything that he has done that Democrats complain about, I agree with. And I actually think if I'm going to say something negative about President Donald Trump, is that he's too soft. He needs to be more like Nayib Bukele from El Salvador, and he needs to get every single person in government all senators, all Congress, all governors, everybody needs to be investigated, audited, every single person. That's what I believe. But that's not what Trump is doing. See, when they say, oh, you can't weaponize the government to go after those that were weaponizing the government against you, my answer will be like hell I can. We are going to respect their wishes. If they want to use this, well, then we're going to use it as well. If you say that I can't say something, well, guess what? Well, you can't say it either. If you say that you're free to say whatever you want, well, I can be free to say whatever I want. Why do you make a big deal out of it? That's right, Kim. He can't be a dictator. That's right. But he can definitely get everybody investigated. There is probable cause. Why not? The Justice Department is meant to be weaponized. It's meant to be weaponized. Against who? Against criminals. And if they are found that they're not criminals, hey, you know what? God bless you. God bless you. So no, I think Trump is too soft. So he is a great leader. He's a great president. None of you in this chat that support Democrats got money. None of you. Not one middle-class person in here if you're a Democrat. You're probably on food stamps right now, on SNAP. I find it very interesting that people know this is what I do for a living, guys. My show is not available. It can't happen without the support of my patriots. That's how it goes. So this is my job. People that follow me, they know that I put a lot of hours in here. None of the stuff that I use is free. None of it. Well, the coffee is supplied by my patrons that support my channel. The internet is paid by supports from my patrons on this channel. Well, I guess you guys are supporting me to do this completely. But the point is that we're not going to sit here and tell lies. It's funny. It's not wrong when you do it, but it's wrong when we do it. What kind of hypocrite do you think that we're going to follow? We're not going to follow no hypocrites. Why do we follow President Donald Trump? We're going to shut down the border. See, the first time that he came in, he had to learn the back roads. You know what I'm saying? He had to learn the back ropes of the being the president. How much power does he have? What is constitutional? What is unconstitutional? How far can I push this law and power? And that is exactly what he's doing. This is the border that he can't cross in his power, and he is going right next to it. He is maximizing that power as much as he can because he knows that there is a lot of morons out there that are going to try to stop him from making America great again. Fortunately for us, we have enough American patriots that still believe that America can be great again. And I believe that we are already. I believe that by securing the border, we are great already. I believe that getting all these illegal immigrants out of here, it's a goal that we're going to achieve. One way or another, we're going to achieve that goal. You can impeach a president that has worked harder than anybody else in history of presidents in this country. How are you going to impeach a peacemaker throughout the world? How are you going to impeach a president that even the Nobel Peace Prize winner praises and thanks for everything that he's doing? How are you going to impeach a president that even Mexican patriots, Mexican citizens, are calling on Trump to come and help them? You see what I'm saying? You can't win. You can't lie to us. You might be weak-minded, and they probably convince you of your error ways. That's fine, but we're not. We like to think of ourselves as common sense thinking folks. America first. And because America's first, Israel will be taken care of. Do you know what they call the United States of America throughout the world? Anybody. What do they call the United States of America? Come on, somebody. What do they call the United States of America throughout the world? Big Brother. Big Brother. Think about that. That is worldwide. Big Brother. Why do you think that is? Because they know that if the United States is strong, we're going to come and help. The only people that don't want our help, that don't like President Trump, are criminals, people that are hiding their criminality, and people that are just retarded. Mental health problems. It's a big issue in this country. And I see a lot of them in this chat. They get triggered with the Gulf of America hat. It makes me even more proud to wear it for you, my American patriots. John Applegate, you never disappoint. You are one of the most loyal haters in my chat. This is why I like to see your name on here. Yeah, Joe Reed says they call it home. Yeah, everybody wants a piece of the American dream, but guess what? It belongs only to American citizens. It is what it is. You can hate. You can do whatever you want. All I can tell you is I love the United States of America. I love my American people. I'm going to give you a compliment. I'm sorry. If you're a city American, guys, I apologize for this, but not because it's a bad thing, but you better, John, you better behave. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. I love country people. Country people, man. Cowboys, you know what I'm saying? People that love their guns. And they can have guns and they don't go commit crimes. This is the countrymen. This is the cowboys that I like. Not the corrupted ones, not the bad ones. I have so much respect. I know we all crazy in some way. I like a bunch of rednecks. I can tell you that if there was an invasion in this country, those rednecks will be the only ones saving your weak ass because you guys don't know how to fight. All you guys know how to do is throw a tantrum. You don't know how to have work ethics. You guys don't know how to respect the law. You guys don't know how to appreciate everything that God gives you in this life. Americans, however, as much as some of you ungrateful mofos don't love and don't respect American citizens, I'm going to tell you something. Americans have been known to be the most giving people on earth. That's a fact. Americans are the best kind of people in the world. Whether you're Hispanic, whether you're Asian, it's irrelevant. If you became part of, to being of the United States of America, you are now part of the greatest country on earth. Why? Because we can't be defeated? No. Because we got heart. Because we got God. In one way or another, you're a Christian brother and sister. Whether you like the way I talk or not is irrelevant. But if you like the truth, if you like to figure things out and you want to talk with common sense, you're in the right channel. You're in the right place. Every single negative comment that the crazy ass people put in this chat, they had me smiling. They had me laughing because they defend their brothers and sisters. They defend the Americans. USAID, the best decision that we did by shutting that down. one of the most corrupted money laundering NGOs that we've had. One of the reasons why Ilhan Omar in Congress was talking so much crap about the United States of America and praising the president of Somalia and their people, and they keep using their Somalian people to vote them in office. And some of you American people don't even realize it, and they're winning. But ever since they shut down USAID, the economy, think about this, the whole economy of Somalia is crashing down. You know what that means? We've been swimming, but we forgot to get rid of the anchor that we were fixing onto that boat. We've been swimming with a dead weight in the deep ocean, and we almost drowned until President Trump came back and canceled that nonsense. Now I'm going to say it one more time. You guys are raising false testimony against our president. There is a punishment coming for you. God will punish you for having a poisonous tongue, for being a tool for the devil. All of you demons out there will pay the price. I rebuke every single one of you guys in the name of Jesus Christ. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. You will pay for it. God is going to punish you for it. And I pray that you repent from your evil ways and from your sins, and that you ask God to forgive you, because that's the only way that you're going to get out of it. That is the only way. I guarantee it. You don't want to wait too long to do that. Stop listening to violent people. You think that me raising my voice is violent? Absolutely not. Violent people go out there and cause violence. They cause riots. They go shoot people for no reason. I want to thank you guys for liking my video. Thank you for being here with me today. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I want to give you an update on the voting. There's a rebuttal here. Give me a second. On motion to refer, okay, that passed. Let's take a listen a little bit of what's going on over here in the House. House approves bill to release the Epstein files. And as you guys are aware, it was not Trump. Remember that. Remember this. You wanted this. That's all on your Democrats' hands. If anything happens to innocent people that are on these files, that's on your hands. Again, remember, you asked for this. So here you go.
And the noes are 214. The motion is not adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Pursuant to Clause 2 of Rule 9, the gentleman from South Carolina, Mr. Norman, and the gentleman from Maryland, Mr. Raskin, each will control 30 minutes. The chair recognizes the gentleman from South Carolina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In just a moment. The chair would ask the House to come to order again, ask members to take conversations off the floor so that the members can be given due accord and respect during the period of debate. The gentleman has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today because the House of Representatives has a responsibility and a duty to protect the integrity of this institution. And what we learned from the documents released by Jeffrey Epstein's estate is nothing short of alarming. Those documents show that Delegate Stacey Plaskett, a sitting member of Congress, coordinated her questioning during an official oversight hearing with a man who is a convicted sex offender, a man whose crimes against minors shocked this entire nation. Let me be clear, this was just not casual contact. There were deliberate communications, and they shaped her official line of questioning in a congressional hearing. The American people expect honesty. The American people expect integrity and judgment from their elected officials. They expect members of Congress to conduct themselves with one word: decency, not to seek advice from a predator who exploited minor children. This resolution does not accuse. It acknowledges what is documented. It censures Delegate Plaskett for her conduct, removes her from the Intelligence Committee, where her judgment is paramount, and directs a full investigation into the extent of her relationship with Mr. Epstein. Some will try to spin this as politics, but protecting the honor of this body is not partisan. It's not Democrat. It's not Republican. Standing against a convicted predator's influence in our proceedings is not partisan. It's basic decency. We cannot pretend this didn't happen. The American people deserve better. Speaker, I reserve.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from Maryland is recognized.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
The gentleman is recognized.
And I rise in opposition to this resolution. We're here today on the floor to support the complete disclosure of information related to Jeffrey Epstein and his billion-dollar international child sex trafficking ring. And our side of the aisle at least supports the release of information relating to anybody who had anything to do with it, whether they're a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or what have you, period. We insist on complete, full disclosure. This resolution has nothing to do with that. This seems to me to be one more pathetic effort to distract and divert attention from the fact that the president's name appeared more than 1,000 times already in the small fraction of material released on Epstein, and from the failure of the majority to move to disclose this information. And it is this bipartisan group that we've had behind the discharge resolution, which has insisted on bringing this to the fore, and we've got nothing but obstruction, opposition, resistance, evasion, distraction, and diversion from the other side. And now we get one more resolution like this. The resolution actually proposes a disciplinary censure against Representative Stacey Plaskett, but amazingly alleges no misconduct. It does not allege the violation of the Constitution. It does not allege the violation of a federal law or a state law or local law. It does not even allege a violation of the ethics rules of the House of Representatives, and yet they want to censure her and throw her off of her committee. This, a distinguished former federal prosecutor, diligent public servant, representative of the people of the Virgin Islands. Now, criminal justice has two parts to it. One is insisting upon legal accountability for people who do wrong. The other part of it is due process, which may be the two most beautiful words in the English language, certainly the two most beautiful words in the Constitution of the United States. It's due process that protects all of our freedoms and our rights against the arbitrary power of government and the will just to punish somebody without any process at all. But that's exactly what's going on here. Think about it. Ghislaine Maxwell had due process. She had a right to counsel. She had a right to hearing. She had a right to hear the evidence against her. She had a right to put on her case. She had a right to cross-examine. She had a right to a neutral, impartial tribunal. She had a right to unanimous verdict of a jury. And all of that she had, and she was found guilty. And that's why she was sentenced to jail for 20 years, even though Donald Trump has transferred her from a real prison to a prison camp where she's gotten very special pampered treatment, like she's in a Trump hotel. She gets room service to her cell. She gets gym privileges other inmates don't get. She gets to use the warden as a go-between with people outside of the institution and so on. But in any event, she had due process. Donald Trump had due process. He was convicted on 34 felonies, but he had the right to counsel. He had the presumption of innocence. He had a unanimous jury trial, right? They had a right to cross-examine everybody, put their own witnesses on. Now, they want to take a former United States prosecutor, the representative of the people of the Virgin Islands, and without even going to the ethics committee, much less a court, they want to arraign her on some charges based on a newspaper article that she did something lawful. However ill-advised it may have been, she took a phone call from one of her constituents. Now, I don't think it is the position of the very distinguished gentleman that if we find Jeffrey Epstein on the phone with Donald Trump, he should be impeached for it, or is that his position? Is his position that any time Jeffrey Epstein got somebody on the phone, and he got a lot of people on the phone, that person is suddenly guilty? That sounds like guilt by association. That sounds like collective guilt. Our minority whip introduced a perfectly reasonable amendment to say, let's refer this to an ethics committee. Let's have a real hearing. They didn't want to have a real hearing. They want to rush to judgment. Why? So there can be some headline that will please Donald Trump tomorrow instead of a unanimous statement, or forgive me, I think the distinguished gentleman from Louisiana may have dissented, but an otherwise unanimous verdict of the House of Representatives that the American people want all the files open. We've had enough of the cover-up. We want all of the truth. We want the survivors and the victims to have the possibility of accountability. Well, they want to give them another headline, which is that they've arraigned a Democratic member for taking a phone call from her constituent, Jeffrey Epstein, in the middle of a hearing. And of course, I don't think there's any rule here against taking phone calls in a hearing. Now, if you want to actually give her the chance to explain what happened, then we would take it to the ethics committee. I still don't see what the charge is. Where is the ethical transgression? Where is the legal transgression? Are you saying anybody on your side of the aisle who had a phone call with Jeffrey Epstein should be censured? Be careful your answer there, because there's a lot more that's about to come out, right? So you should think about what is the principle behind this rush to judgment. I want to close just with this thought, because I know there were a lot of people in the chamber who were here when this happened, and a lot who weren't. There was a move to expel George Santos, who was a Republican member of the House from New York. And it was the same kind of rush to judgment, absolute political frenzy, and I looked at it for about 60 seconds. And then, I was a professor of constitutional law, so call me a legal nerd. But I said, wait, this guy's not been convicted of anything. Well, he's a Republican. Yeah, I know he's a Republican. He was not convicted in criminal court. To my knowledge, he had not been arraigned yet or convicted of anything in the ethics disciplinary process. They just said, well, there's bad press. We want to get rid of him. Beware of what you wish for. Is that the rule that you want here in the House of Representatives? That you can just draw up a member of Congress in 24 hours or 48 hours because there's a bad newspaper article without asking any questions, without giving that person any due process at all? Is that what it's come to at this point? I mean, all we're asking for in the Epstein files is release the materials so we can check it out. They want to go ahead and censure and remove from a committee a distinguished member of the House of Representatives with no due process at all. I reject this. I hope the whole body will reject this, just like I voted and spoke against removing George Santos, a Republican on the other side of the aisle, because he had gotten no due process. I hope all of our colleagues will reject this absurd rush to judgment and attempt to change the subject here. I reserve the balance of my time.
The gentleman reserves. The gentleman from South Carolina is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, before I yield time to my good friend in Louisiana, Representative Raskin, I will be careful in my remarks. You need to be careful with your facts. You have an 11-year veteran of this body who should know better. You have an 11-year member of this body who took money. It wasn't a newspaper article. It was a fact. She took money from Jeffrey Epstein. It's ironic that you're taken up by defending Ms. Plaskett, which is going to the Ethics Committee, but she's lost her willingness or lost her ability to serve because she got irrational judgment by taking money from a convicted pedophile of young children And it's unfathomable that you're taking the position that you are. These are facts. You mentioned Ghislaine Maxwell. She's not a sitting member of Congress. She, as a sitting member of Congress, she has relinquished any sense of duty to serve on these committees. With that, I want to yield as much time as needed for my good friend in Louisiana, Mr. Clay Higgins.
And the chair would remind all members to please avoid engaging in personalities to direct all comments to the chair. The gentleman from Louisiana is recognized.
I thank my colleague, Mr. Norman from South Carolina, and I thank my colleague, Mr. Raskin, for the salient points that he has brought to this debate. I also defended George Santos on this floor and opposed the means by which he was expelled. I think it was beyond the pale, and this is a responsibility that we bear in this body, is to determine the means by which our colleagues shall be reprimanded or disciplined. And the Constitution is clear on this. My friend, Mr. Raskin, knows full well that this body controls the means by which and the rules by which the members of Congress shall be disciplined. So we've had variances of opinions regarding, the exact disciplinary actions that should be embraced or rejected, member by member. But let me say that in this case, Ms. Plaskett's receiving text messages, this was so alarming to me. When I saw this and read it, I didn't believe it. I say to my friend, I thought perhaps it was media from a satirical site. It couldn't possibly be true, because we all know that a text message, a text exchange is rather intimate in the realm of communications. And to pierce into an actual congressional hearing for a member of Congress to receive and respond to a text message during a hearing, that is quite familiar, is it not? And this was shocking to me, that a member of Congress would be exchanging text messages directly with Jeffrey Epstein in 2000.
Well, something happened with the live feed. We'll see if we can get more out of it. Let me double check here. There's another hearing. I think what they did is they went to another live, but that's not being played right now. So I like the fact that some of these members, some of these representatives, actually know what they're talking about, and I'm glad that they are able to say something, because it feels like we're the only ones out here speaking the truth, and these guys don't ever say anything to each other. So it's good to see that. Now, I will say this. We listened to President Trump and the Saudi prince. Cool Cat Renee mentioned it in there, and I think it's correct. We want to be able to say thank you to the Saudi prince and their nation for making investments here in the United States of America. We appreciate that. And I'm going to say, for some of you guys that don't understand how relationships work, sometimes you have to be able to compromise. And you guys are such hateful people. I don't understand how and why you judge the way that you judge. But I can tell you something. If you guys are in a relationship, man, I feel sorry for your partners. Unless they are just as dumb as you are and as hateful as you are, you guys deserve each other. I can't believe that you guys will actually be able to have a relationship with anybody. Nobody is cleaned of anything. Everybody most likely is guilty of something that you will probably go against. But yet, you judge Trump and you judge everybody that you don't like and disagree with, like you have a fact, like you were there, like you are the real witness, like nothing can be made up. It's like that's it, you're it, and that's not how it works. So I want to say as well, thank you to the Saudi prince of and the Middle East, the father, which is going to be king pretty soon. So I appreciate that. Now let's go ahead and take a look. Now you guys have been just switching gears here to another spot. I don't think we'll ever be able to convince anybody that. Well, if you agree. If you think Kamala is smart and she would have been the best thing for America, you're doomed. Gavin Newsom is running for president seriously. The guy nearly destroyed California. What makes him think that we're going to allow him to destroy the United States of America? Well, I got to say it. It's either he has big balls or he is just retarded. And he doesn't really know how horrible of a person he really is. That's my objectivity on that matter. But I want to close with this news from Charlotte, and let's see if you guys actually pay attention. Now, my patrons, you guys know, you guys are good. We watched the videos that we were going to watch, so thank you so much for visiting. Thank you for stopping by. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the subscribes. If you got to go, I understand, but I want to thank you for being here tonight. I believe there might be another live later today. So let's see. Wait a minute, David. Don't be putting words in my mouth. Amber Alert. 12-year-old Vanessa, white female, unknown clothing, and 8-year-old Audrey White, female, unknown clothing, last seen off West Broadway in Montesano at 6 a.m. with 40-year-old Carolyn in a 2014 black Subaru. If seen, immediately call 911 or 509-725-3501. So that had to be over here in Eastern Washington, it looks like. Yes. Okay. All right, with that being said, you see how we got problems. Child trafficking. Parents being divorced, stealing their children from their other parent. Anything can happen. But you got to work things out. That's all I got to say. So thank you guys so much for your attention on this matter. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this next video here.
Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. All right, Secretary, do you hate whistles?
I would hate listening to those whistles day after day. I was watching those videos, Jesse, and wondering if their parents are proud of them, that they grew up, learned how to get instructions, how to blow a
Listen to these anti-American anchor babies.
Whistle and chase law enforcement officers around the country while they were keeping people safe. It's just unbelievable to me what these people will do in order to facilitate more criminal activity in the United States. I'm so grateful for those law enforcement officers. They go out and do their job even though they have to listen to those whistles all day long.
Yeah, we'd just like to apologize to the audience that the audio is so loud. It's starting to drive the control room crazy too. So we're hearing there's like over 100,000 illegal aliens in the city of Charlotte. This operation, Charlotte's Web, is underway. How's it going so far?
It's going good. We're using the investigative cases that we've built on these individuals in that area to go out and after the worst of the worst. We're going after people who've committed robberies, assaults, DUIs, getting them off the streets, keeping people safe. That is exactly what the leadership in the city should be partnering with us on and what the governor should be as well. But grateful that every single day I get to wake up and work for a president that just wants to protect the American people. So we've got many individuals we've already arrested and are bringing to justice and deporting, returning them back home to their countries. And all of that is built off of getting those worst of the worst off of our streets to make us safe again. I would hate listening to those whistles.
I'll start
day after
again.
day.
Sorry.
I was watching those videos, Jesse, and wondering if their parents are proud of them, that they grew up, learned how to get instructions, how to blow a whistle and chase law enforcement officers around the country while they were keeping people safe. It's
Illegal immigrants break federal law. That is a crime.
just unbelievable to me what these people will do in order to facilitate more criminal activity in the United States. I'm so grateful for those law enforcement officers that go out and do their job, even though they have to listen to those whistles all day long.
Yeah, we'd just like to apologize to the audience that the audio is
Thanks,
so
Ben.
loud. It's starting to drive the control room crazy, too. So we're hearing there's like over 100,000 illegal aliens in the city of Charlotte. This operation, Charlotte's Web, is underway. How's it going so far?
It's going good. We're using the investigative cases that we've built on these individuals in that area to go out and after the worst of the worst. We're going after people who've committed robberies, assaults, DUIs, getting them off the streets, keeping people safe. That is exactly what the leadership in the city should be partnering with us on, and what the governor should be as well. But grateful that every single day I get to wake up and work for a president that just wants to protect the American people. So we've got many individuals we've already arrested and are bringing to justice and deporting, returning them back home to their countries. And all of that is built off of getting those worst of the worst off of our streets to make us safe again.
And some of these ICE agents, they really do, man, that's a tough job. They're very brave. It seems like a lot of the people attacking them happen to be trans. Not all of them, but a lot of these videos, you see a lot of these trans people up in their face and getting
mental
violent.
problems.
Why is that?
You know, it's really strange, the individuals that are out there protesting these law enforcement officers, and also the individuals that are out there attacking them. If you saw again today, Jesse, using vehicles as weapons, going after them, not just trying to stop them from arresting individuals, but trying to stop them from doing their work, trying to harm them, trying to kill them. And those, I'm grateful that they aren't successful, but these law enforcement officers are in danger while they're out on our streets, making sure that our communities are safe again. And that's one of the things that we need to continue. As just as loud as those whistles are, we should be out there thanking and praising our law enforcement every single day for the work that they do. I hope the American people that have their backs make sure that their neighbors, their communities, and their leaders know that they have their backs and they support what they're doing.
Yeah, we have...
Hey, Ben, why don't you go check the hardware downstairs? And you go find out if they're trans or not. I can tell that guy was trans, bro. That is not a girl. I can tell you that right now. All right, for those of you guys that don't know, if you are here in Washington State, there is something going on here. Super Signer Rally. This happening this Sunday, the 23rd, at 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. This is from the Undivided, Brandy Cruz and Brian Haywood. They are going to have a seminar at a high school, and it's at Cougar Mountain Middle School Gymnasium, 1929 Northwest Tallis Drive, Issaquah, Washington, 98027. If you guys see that sign there, let me see if I can move it up. You guys can actually, hopefully, you can scan that code right there. So you can scan this code right there, and it'll take you to the website. If you are in Washington State, you can join, and I will be there. So if you have questions, hey, why don't you come and meet me, and we can have an actual conversation. Possibly, maybe, it depends, maybe not, but possibly if we meet, then we can go find a different time so we can go have a beer or something, all right? I don't drink anymore, but I will go have a beer just to, make peace with some of you guys, all right? If you're friendly, even better. That's where I'm at with that, okay? So let me go ahead and address some of the questions that you guys may have here. Sometimes you guys have actually legit questions. Extra ice, please. Let's go. All right, let's see. I'm going to go up in the comments here. Let's see. Is Barron Trump there? No. Now, if somebody thinks that Trump, Barron Trump is the next president, come on, get real. I don't see nothing from that kid to be a president Too young. Maybe when he gets older and we get to see some of his character, maybe we can judge a little bit better. But right now, just because he's Trump, it doesn't mean that he can be president. That's just not what I believe. All right, your Wad Tech says that woman was as dumb as all my doorknobs. Talking about Kamala, I think. I speak better than her, so I couldn't vote for someone dumber than myself. I don't think I am ready for president. John Applegate says 8,000 people were dying a day last time Trump is in office from COVID-19 and played golf. So, John, let's go ahead and call. When you make a comment, you know me already. When you make a comment, you better have something else to tell me about that. What else is missing from that comment that I just read? 8,000 people were dying a day last time Trump is in office from COVID-19 and he played golf. What else is missing from that statement that you just made right there? Well, obviously you're not going to answer it because you're a moron. But what is missing on that is President Trump, as soon as he found out, and he was told, by the way, he's being advised on everything, and this is how he makes his decisions. Fauci told him that the virus was not a problem. President Trump said, hey, let's shut no more flights from China. All of you libtards out there went against him. Let's not play stupid. I was watching this shit. I lost my business to COVID-19, so it's very personal. They said, no, he is racist. Blah, blah, blah. I'm sick and tired of you mother. Oh, my God, I want to curse so bad. I'm sick and tired of you people calling names, bitching and complaining about everything, and yet you're never happy. You get what you want, you're not happy. You don't get what you want, you're worse. There is no pleasing you people. She said the guy found the cure for cancer, and you guys are still mad. You just can't take it. TDS, you got to get rid of that, man. What happens? President Trump said, we're not going to take people from China no more. Oh, no, you can't do that, Mr. President. Oh, you know what? It's not that bad. Oh, okay. Allow flights to come in. Boom. Hundreds of thousands of people, COVID-19. Whose fault is that? President Trump? You ignorant. Fauci's fault, and the Democrats that try to make Trump look bad. You see, every single thing that Democrats do, they destroy America. Every single thing they touch turns into shit. Why is that? Why can't you guys just get your head out of your ass and think for once? It amazes me that all the things that we see happen and you still blame Trump. I hope Fauci goes to jail. Fake-ass doctor. Degrees for nothing. He broke his doctor's ethic. He should be in jail for that. He should have no merits, no recognition of anything. He should be stripped from everything. And don't get me started, man. I hope that you guys bring some facts. Don't give me half-ass information. Give me everything. Demonetize says, and we all know no one is above the law. That's right. We're going to go after everybody that breaks the law. Trump is about to expose himself. Man, he's been more exposed than anybody I've known. You guys are still in a witch hunt. Never learn. Never learn. Trinity says that John Applegate entering our country illegally, first offense is procurable under federal statute 8 USC 1325 and is punishable by incarceration, fine, and or deportation. Thank you, Trinity. I appreciate the facts. Jack says the Southeast ain't going to tolerate this. They fought a civil war to keep their land. I don't know what the hell that was at the end. Sorry there, Jack. Illegal immigrants, it's a misdemeanor. Yeah, and what is that? And what comes after when you work illegally? What is that? Is that also a misdemeanor? Committing fraud is a felony. So what happens when you work in this country illegally? I think that calls for action of deportation. As a matter of fact, why don't we go look some rules up here? Let's take a look. Let me go ahead and do my Google searches over here because all the leftists love it when Google gives me information. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. You ready? Ready for some information? Working in the United States without proper authorization is a serious violation of immigration law that can lead to deportation, bars to re-entry into the United States, and the denial of future immigration benefits. Any other questions on illegal immigrants? Crossing the border is one thing. But many of you say, oh, but they work and they pay taxes. Really? Thank you for acknowledging that they are breaking the law. It's a violation of federal immigration law. It's a fact. On top of that, you commit fraud if you use fake papers. That is a felony. Put your ass in jail and then get deported. Be grateful that we're telling you self-deport. Do it the right way. What is the biggest problem with illegal immigration? Well, first of all, you're not going to raise American patriots. It's very rare. Maybe back in the days we did. But the generation today, you guys did a horrible job. Because of you, the generation today is horrible. Now, I don't mean my Patriots generation. I'm talking about the corrupted generation that we have today is due to those people that don't respect the law. Illegal immigrants will not raise American patriots. Why? Even if it's a criminal being deported, they're out there with the little whistles. Really? That's why you trained your kids to be American-like? That is a problem. Another reason why illegal immigration is horrible. The riots in LA. Illegal immigrants coming in here and making babies just so that they can have the benefit that when they turn 18 years old, that they can claim them and become citizens of this country. And only for one reason. Number one. The only reason why illegal immigrants want to become citizens of this country is retirement, the money that they're going to get paid when they retire. Let me tell you something right now. If you guys are ignorant and don't think about these things, what happens when I come to this country at the age of 60 and then I become a citizen? At 62 years old, I got to collect some Social Security money. It's not going to be a lot because you got to work for it. But if you are retiring age, you can. If you're disabled, you get money. If you're an American citizen, you get the benefits that you need to get, period. That's why illegal immigration is bad. Because those people, those citizens, are not the United States' responsibility. The dumb president of Honduras, Xiomara, yes, that is my country of birth. This dumb lady, she lied to get in the office and they cheated. That's no news. You guys know this. The Dominion system is what they used. Oh yeah, the same emergency happens. Power went out when they were losing. When the power came back, guess who won? That's right. Unbelievable. Do you know why? Do you know why the power has to be cut off? If you see, I build my own computer. I connect all the wires for my network. I connect all wires for audio and video devices. I know how to run networks. I know how to use software for radio and TV. I know how to do all that stuff. Do you know that there is a report of what happens in software? If I make a change, there is a record that says I made a change on this time. But if they shut down if they shut down the power, they can change software. And they will just say, oh, there was a disruption. See, there's a message. You can program what the message is going to say. And the message is not going to say software was edited. It's going to say data was not edited. It's going to say shutdown, power malfunction. The message is not going to say that data was edited. The message is going to say power loss. I don't have to be a genius to think about that. Yeah, I don't know how to do software programming, but I know how you can program some stuff. And I can tell you, just like you can change folder names from junk to actual mail to a person's name to a name of the file or whatever, you can do the same for error messages. Maybe you were in there and edited the software, but instead of recording it as an edit of software, or data, I'm sorry, it'll say power outage. And that is the perfect excuse to see, there was some discrepancies, but that's because the power went out. Bullshit. The power went out because of the discrepancy. Isn't that nice? Isn't that a beautiful idea? And even if it says data has been updated in the middle of an election, oh yeah, well it was updated because the power went out. You see how that works? It's very easy, isn't it? Anybody can do it. Anybody can do it. Oh man, I love theories. I love chaos theories. Technology, I love technology. We all know that everybody needs to come here the right way. But the president of Honduras tells the President Trump that if we keep deporting Hondurans, look at this, if we keep deporting Hondurans, she's going to have all the, jeez, this lady's stupid. She's going to have all American soldiers removed from a port in Honduras. Let me tell you what happens when the Americans are present in Honduras. Criminals don't get away with their shit. And that is just a farce, because she is in bed with Nicolás Maduro. And if you don't know who that is yet, you better look up that name, because that's the dictator from Venezuela, which, that's right, President Trump is going to take out. He better surrender. He better surrender, and then once he surrenders, they're going to be investigated. Every little dealings that they've been doing, they're going to look for schedules. They're going to look where the money went, where the money come from, where's it going, what was it moving, what was it rotating, what was it doing up and down, what's going on with the money. And they're going to find out all this stuff that they have been doing against Venezuelan people. And when they do, he's done. And so are going to be all his helpers. This is why they rush so hard to give you negative news, fake news. They cover for criminals. But everything that they cover is found out eventually, sooner or later. I'm going to tell you this right here. There was a doctor, a surgeon, by the way, at his house. They came, they investigated the doctor here in Seattle, Washington. And they came to find out, Trinity's a chat, Dennis is allowing free speech in here today, but try to be respectful. That's right. You know I'm going to call it if I get a hold of something. Now you guys know if somebody's threatening my life again, we will be reporting them to the FBI, and so I hope that you guys don't go that way. Okay. So Virgil, if somebody calls me names, by all means, 4547 Trinity. Anybody using calling me names and it's not something relevant to what we're talking about, I don't want to hear it. All right. Thank you for the subscribes. My health is going down for every subscriber that we get, and I can see already that we have gone past, let me take a look. We have gone past 11,000. We are now at 11,160 subscribers. That is all you guys. That is all you, and I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. Fantastic. All these haters are not going to get away with anything. All right? So there you go. Hey, thanks for stopping by, haters. We're going to make sure that every corrupted president that has been screwing over the United States of America is going to pay the price. President Nayib Bukele, a president of excellence, over 90% approval rating in the country. The whole nation loves him, except for those criminals, except for the people that benefit from money, from drugs. Oh, thank you, Brian. Thank you. That's all you guys. I want to tell you, thank you, Oficial. Bro, I say you look extra brown today. I hope I didn't offend you. Hey, it is extra brown today. Don't worry. No, that doesn't bug me. My patrons, you guys can call me whatever. See that GTO hot guy right there? That's different. Okay? Official, I know, brother. You're for America. We're Latinos for... Oh, good news, guys. Great announcement. Nah, I'm going to surprise you guys. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to surprise you. When it happens, you will just know. Yes, Holden. I really believe that we're going to go after all of them. Well, I mean, if we catch them during President Trump's administration, I don't know if J.D. Vance is going to go on that. Hopefully. These guys think they're so clever repeating names that they've heard from somebody else. Danica Lewinsky, these guys. Raj Babe. My beautiful little sister. I think I'm older than Rush, and I think I'm younger than others. You know what? Forget little. Just sister. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to say you're too young or you're too old. I got to stay neutral. Let me see. What time is it? I got to go pick up my wife from work. But I love having a talk with you guys. If you come back later tonight, all you haters, be ready, because I'm going to go hardcore on this illegal immigration and how you guys are destroying our country. All American patriots, you guys keep praying. Tanya, 61. Yeah, she's older than me. I'm almost a half a century old. I'm 49. But the best thing about it is I'm a Gemini, so the wisdom, the genius that I carry on has been bestowed on me by nature and by God. That's just a joke. Clyde, love you too. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you guys. Love you all, man. I'll be there with a wrench on, says Brian. Seriously, I want to say, guys, thank you so much. I really mean it. Now, I haven't updated my list. I think we have maybe 1 or 2 new members. But I want to say thank you, guys. Thank you to my members. I know I'm gonna be working on something special just for you guys. I'm thinking about going maybe this weekend. I'm thinking about going to the mountain. If it's available, I'm gonna go up to the ice caves. Maybe I can make a small video for you guys, and then I will post it for members only. And then once I get my members watching it, then I'm going to go ahead and share it with everybody else, okay? But you guys get to see that first. In the meantime, just enjoy my thank you message. If you're not on my list, let me know. Official, I don't think I've added you yet, but if you're not on my list, let me know. Thank you so much, guys. Love you all. I will see you guys later tonight. I will leave you with the Boss Dance official. Love you, bro. Thank you for joining the channel. I'm glad that you are here. Nothing, if you have a blue name, a green name, or if you are an American that stands for America First, supports my president, Donald Trump, and you are a MAGA, you can call me whatever you want. Everybody else, shut the hell up and get off my chat. God bless you guys. Love you all. You all be safe. Take care. Oh, my goodness.